Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our monthly press conference. Thank you very much for your patience. By this time, you must be aware why I wanted to delay my press conference until 1 o'clock. As you know, the World Health Organization has now indicated that the world is experiencing an influenza pandemic caused by the new H1N1 virus. It has therefore elevated its alert to phase 6. Let me stress, this is a formal statement about the geographic spread of disease. It is not in itself a cause for alarm. Though infectious, this new virus has so far not been as severe as had been feared, and death rates have been low. But we must be watchful. We do not know what picture will emerge in the coming month. The virus has hit mainly developed countries. That is likely to soon change, and it will have consequences. Poorer countries have less developed health systems. People tend to seek health care later. And there is often a higher level of other diseases in the general population. Bear in mind as well that the southern hemisphere is only now entering the flu season. We must therefore be prepared. Our best response is a firm demonstration of global solidarity. Like other diseases, H1N1 respects no borders. The most effective way to fight it at home for any country is to fight it wherever it breaks out. We will therefore work with national governments and the World Health Organization to ensure that our response is as well coordinated and as effective as possible. I would like to make 3 quick points going forward. First, access to vaccines and antivirals, in addition to antibiotics and other commodities, is crucial. That is why Dr. Margaret Chan and I mobilized more than 24 pharmaceutical companies for a meeting in Geneva last month. They agreed to contribute part of their vaccine production to vulnerable nations upon request by WHO. Manufacturing of pandemic vaccines has already begun, and the first doses will be available in September 2009. At the same time, virus samples and other information about the disease must also be widely and openly shared. Second, we must guard against rash and discriminatory actions such as travel bans or trade restrictions. Our response to any pandemic must be grounded in science. Third, the impact will be felt far beyond the health sector, and it will require coordination on every front. We must safeguard the interest of those who are most vulnerable. I ask the International Red Cross and our NGO partners to join us in this work. I will convene a meeting of the Influenza Steering Committee here on Monday morning to map out our immediate next steps. This will occur prior to the opening session of my forum on advancing global health in the faces of crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also in a crucial moment in the global economic crisis. Later this month, the General Assembly will host the UN conference on the world financial and economic crisis and its impact on development. That will be followed by the July G8 summit in Italy and the September meeting of the G20 meeting in Pittsburgh. Here too, my priority is the needs of the most vulnerable. I'm sending a letter to the leaders of the G8 countries stressing my concerns. In Gleneagles in 2005, leaders pledged to increase development assistance by $50 billion by 2010, half of it for Africa. Today, only 10% of what was pledged to Africa has come through. The economic crisis cannot become an excuse to abandon commitment. It is even more reason to make them concrete. If we are to seal a deal on climate change at Copenhagen in December, we will also need additional resources for climate adaptation and emissions mitigation in developing countries. In short, the road to the achieving of Millennium Development Goals by 2015 runs through New York, through L'Aquila, through Pittsburgh, and through Copenhagen. Let me turn to several peace and security issues. On the Middle East, I look forward to the next meeting of the Quartet, tentatively scheduled later this month in Italy. There is encouraging momentum on which to build. I congratulate the government and people of Lebanon on the recent elections. President Obama's address in Cairo has lent new momentum to the peace process. The rights of both peoples, Palestinians and Israelis, to self-determination, statehood, and security are the basis of any policy going forward. We must deal with obvious humanitarian challenges. As I have said before, the Gaza blockade is devastating the population and achieving little in security and political terms. If the crossings continue to remain closed for most goods, the people of Gaza will slide into even deeper hardship with a risk of further radicalization. On the issue of settlements, the UN position is well known. It is critical that Israel frees settlement expansion and dismantle outposts as the Quartet and more recently US President Obama have asked. Last week, I briefed the Security Council on my recent visit to Sri Lanka. The government made a number of commitments in the joint communique at the conclusion of my mission. Today, I sent a letter to President Rajapaksa following up on those commitments, particularly those concerning a transparent and fully accountable inquiry into potential violations of international law during the final stages of conflict. The government has addressed some concerns I raised over humanitarian access to the IDP camps. I am also encouraged by the government's commitment to return 80% of those displaced in the fighting to their homes by the end of this year. That said, conditions in the camps remain difficult, and I will continue to press for improvement, not least in vital areas such as freedom of movement and family reunification. Most importantly, if history is not to repeat itself, the Sri Lankan government must reach out to its Tamil minority as well as to others. The first steps toward reconciliation must, I repeat, must begin now. Lastly, I am following the situation in Pakistan with grave concern. This week's attack in Peshawar claimed many lives, including 2 UN staff and 3 Pakistani nationals supporting UN programs. I salute their commitment and grieve with their families. As you know, the fighting in Pakistan has displaced an estimated 3 million people. We stand ready to help the Pakistani government to the maximum amid this humanitarian crisis. We have launched a $543 million funding appeal. So far, we have received roughly 1/4 of that amount. As a result, there could soon be serious breaks in the food pipeline. Current stocks of essential drugs will be depleted by the end of this month. I therefore appeal to the international community, especially major donors, to respond quickly and generously to Pakistan's urgent humanitarian relief and reconstruction needs. We must alleviate distress and avoid putting the country at risk of a spiraling secondary crisis.